Hello. So, it's the last weekend of archery season. Packed in last night. Didn't hear anything last night, didn't hear anything this morning. Haven't recorded anything until now because I'm kind of frustrated with how dead and quiet it's been. And there's nothing really to talk about if I'm not seeing or hearing elk. But I figured I have to have a video to close off the season since I've been recording the entire rest of the time. I'm gonna go sit down towards where I saw the elk last time, see what I can find, see if anything comes past, see if I hear anything. I don't know. Haven't ate breakfast yet. So I'll go sit there, call, eat some breakfast. Brought a book again. Love reading when I'm out in the woods. It's nice and peaceful. And honestly, it's the only way I can sit still. I can sit in glass if there's expanses of land and not move, but when visibility is limited, like in thick forest, I know this isn't super thick compared to some of the places you guys hunt. I always hear stories about Oregon and Idaho, but in Colorado, I'm used to being in the alpine, and this back here is really dense for me. But when I'm sitting in forest like this and I can't see and there's just game trails, I have a hard time sitting still. I want to fidget and play with everything. When I was a kid, I used to always cut sticks with my knife. That at least kept me sitting still. But now I just bring a book, sit there, read a book, and keep myself from moving, and hopefully the animals walk up on me and I hear them before they realize I'm sitting there reading. Alright, I'm gonna close this out and go find a spot to sit. So this is frustrating. Not seeing anything, not hearing anything. So I have my whole camp in my pack, and I'm still hunting and cow calling. Just going nice and slow through the forest, looking and listening, hoping I can hear elk feeding or chirping or something. Get to a patch of deadfall. This area's full of deadfall, as you've seen from all the other videos. I gotta climb through this one a little bit, like prop myself up on logs and swing over, etc. You guys know the drill, especially if you're short like me. Can't really stride over anything. So I climb through this, pop up on the other side on a flat section, and I stand and rest. Maybe 4 or 5 minutes, and then I decide to keep walking on this game trail that I'm on. Take a couple steps and I hear a huff. There's a bull 50 to 60 yards behind me. Just goes barreling off downhill. Definitely saw me, didn't win me. Just because he was on the same level of the hill as me and the wind's blowing uphill relatively stiffly. But yeah, he just goes crashing down. Watched him to maybe 150 yards through gaps in the trees. Lone bull. Sucks. At least there's elk in here. But it sucks, like, in range. Just totally unaware that he's even there. We should make some noise and alert me that they're there beforehand. Coming in directly behind me, like where I just walked through. I mean, let's say like you're being super diligent and you're paying attention to like 120 degrees. Like it's right behind where I can't even see, especially when I'm focused on climbing over a bunch of logs. Hopefully that's not my only encounter this weekend. Alright, so I'm much lower than I have been. Kind of the same elevation I shot my cow at last year during first season. Saw some fresh tracks, some fresh droppings down here. Maybe something will wander by. I'm gonna sit in the shade, do a little calling. See if I can drum up anything. Maybe this time it'll come and make a noise instead of silent. Well, nothing yet. I'm pretty low in some aspens. Climbing through deadfall. It's a bit of a tangled mess down here. I'm gonna see if I can get set somewhere with advantage. Hang out. Call again. It's warm still. It's now nowhere near as warm as it was last week, but it's still not cool. Alright. I always start with alright. But, alright, I found a shed. Oh, a little tiny elk shed. Look at this. I would still shoot this elk. That's 4 points, so it's legal. I'm not gonna complain at all. Super cool find. I'm gonna pop it onto my backpack real quick. Hope I come across another one. I figure all through this stuff is great shed habitat. I just heard a bugle back down, kind of where I came from. A cow called back. We'll see what happens. I just had a bugle when I was walking back there. I'm gonna hang in this area a little bit. GPS is off. It's telling me I'm in a different spot than I am. I'm not sure what's going on with Onyx. But this is why you need to understand topography and how to read terrain and pay attention to where you're going. With thick forests like this, I rely a lot on the GPS to get me to specific spots. But if it doesn't work with battery ties or whatever, I'm not dead in the water, I can still get around. It's bounced me all over and said I was below where I killed the elk after I had already walked past my carcass from last year. And then now it says I'm above my wallow. It's hopping me all over the place. But anyway, I heard a bugle up there. I think I'm just gonna keep easing through the forest. The wind's coming down in my face. Alright, I'm really flustered since I started with alright again. Frustrated, excited all at the same time. I'm sitting here next to the wallow, and up the hill from me, I hear some walking, like rocks on hooves, branches breaking, and I'm looking and I see an elk body moving. So I get all excited, geared up, camera, bow, everything is facing this direction. I'm watching, listening, and then I hear crunching right down behind me. I still have an elk in about 100 yards of me, so I'm trying to do everything at the same time. Pay attention to him. He's not receptive to calls. I'll get to that. But anyway, I hear crunching behind me. And then, right down in there, 28 yards, a real nice bull. behind me. I can hardly even turn my head enough to look back at him. So I try to look at him without alerting him, and I watch him. He eventually feeds backwards and goes around some trees. I figure he's gonna go up to the water. And as soon as he gets behind the trees, I flip the camera around, get my bow, and turn around. Sure enough, he comes out and drinks. Before I draw, and as I'm leaning, I crunch leaf, and he picks his head up and looks at me, so I just freeze. He can't win me from where he's at. The wind's going downhill, and there's this ravine between us, so it's getting sucked before it makes it to him. Anyway, he starts to walk up the hill and leave. I draw as he's leaving, thinking he may stop, and I might get like a 50-yarder at him, but no luck. As he's leaving, another bull's on the hillside about equal to me, a smaller bull. That's the one that's still hanging out here. He goes up the hill, and then I hear crunching up above me again. It's the cow. Or I assume it's a cow. I never got a good look at the head. It's about 62 yards. Going through. Call at her, nothing. She just continues over. I sit back down on this log. The small bull's up the hill from me. He feeds and comes through, and he hangs out for probably 35 minutes. Not receptive to any calls. I'm mewing at him. I have external read for like the estrus mew. I even bugle at him a couple times. I wait for him to put his head behind the tree so he can't see me when I do anything. But he does not want to come into a call at all. So he fed off, and I glassed him up, and he was still over there just walking around eating. I need him to come down and drink before I run out of light. It's getting cold too. I don't have camp set up, so I'm gonna have to go back out over here instead of camp tonight. Oh, exciting, frustrating. The big bull came in right behind me at 28 yards. If I'd been looking this way, if he did alert he was coming in, oh, it would have been perfect. 36 yards drinking. There's no angle. At least I'm into him. At least I'm into him. It's the second to last day of the season right now. I'm sorry, I'm rambling on. This section of the video is going to be super long. But, finally had action and I'm a little bit excited. Glad I'm into the elk. It's second to last day of the season. If I don't get it done tonight, I got tomorrow morning. I can't hunt all the way to this lake tomorrow, just because that'd be a little bit irresponsible trying to get everything out in time and get back. I'm sure work wouldn't care if I have to call in and be like, hey, I need to pack one more load out this morning before I come in. I'm not too far, but I'm a bit of ways in, especially with all this deadfall. It's slow going. I'm gonna end this so you don't have to listen to this forever. I'll update you guys after I get back and set camp up and stuff. Or you'll have a video of a dead elk. It's a little bit bright in this. Right. So, pretty cool. Backlit and a sidelit, I guess. But anyway, found a plot spot. Can't even talk. Sorry, I'm still thinking about everything I could have did differently over there. How I could have tried to force it. Ground's so crunchy. Anyway, I found a spot to camp, which is kind of hard in all the deadfall, but I found a flat spot that's wide enough to pitch my tent. As you can see, the tent is pitched. So I got that set. Got everything in here. What time is it? It's 8 o'clock. Sunset's at 7. Lose visibility about 7:30ish. I got out of there while it was still bright enough to see, so I could get out without making too much of a racket. Anyway, got out of there. Came around the corner. Found a spot to camp. I'm gonna stay here tonight so I can be back at the wall in first light. And maybe they'll come drink. I don't really think they're gonna come drink after a nice cool night. I knew they wanted to come get water after they slept all day. So that's why I sat there in the evening. Oh, frustrating. So close. Can't believe he came in directly behind me. Like, when I say behind me, I mean behind me. Sit there and look over your shoulder and twist as much as you can, and you're gonna be side-eyed in your peripheral. Like, it's directly behind me, and he came in silently. By the time I heard him crunching, it was 28 yards. I'm thinking that when he went behind the tree and I flipped the camera and got my bow spun around, I should have just stood up. But I tried to stay concealed and kneel, and the lane didn't line up, so I tried to shuffle on my knees and get over, and I crunched. And he looked at me, definitely couldn't see me very well. I was behind some logs, face paint and the whole deal. But he got nervous and went up the hill. I feel like if I would have stood, I might have been able to draw and then just step and get the clear vantage point. Hindsight's always 20/20. But man, it was a good looking bull. Wasn't anything crazy big. I didn't count. I don't get too concerned. It was legal for sure. I'm thinking it was a 6. Pretty narrow but tall. The second bull was smaller. He was heavy horned, real heavy horned for being as small as he was. Definitely legal. He was either a 4 or a 5. I wasn't gonna be picky. I'm gonna shoot a cow or a calf if it walks in front of me. I just want meat in the freezer. Tomorrow's the last day of the season, so I have to make it happen tomorrow morning, since I didn't make it happen tonight. Alright, I'm gonna start cooking. I'm hungry. Need to go to bed. Alright. Every time. I'm back at the truck, and all I have to show for this trip is the shed. Nothing panned out. after that really close opportunity last night. This morning I saw a doe and a grouse. It's the last day of the season. I feel like the spot I was at is an afternoon spot. They bed all day and then they come through there at last light to drink before they do their whatever they do at night. But with it being the last day, I didn't feel like I could sit until 7:30 p.m., 2 hours in, and then have to hike the 2 hours out, drive the 2 hours home. I mean, if I would have shot something, it would have been, I would have not went to work tomorrow. Wouldn't have been the worst thing, but I just felt like it was a little irresponsible. Had some good opportunities this year. Frustrating that none of them worked, but that's how it goes. Time to get geared up for my rifle deer tag that my dad and I always go on, so try to make the most of that. Find myself another big deer. I think that's like a 9 or 10 day trip that we go on. Alright, I'm gonna get the truck loaded up and drive home.